David Lappartient, the UCI announced yesterday that the anti-doping proceedings involving Christopher Froome have now been closed. Can you explain why has this been closed?
This case has been closed because the UCI received later an announcement, a statement from the World Anti-Doping Agency, in which they clearly said that they accepted the explanation transmitted by Mr. Christopher Froome, and that his stamp on the case does not constitute an anti-doping rule violation.
Does this mean that the reaction of the UCI was somewhat dictated by the World Anti-Doping Agency?
An international federation like the UCI has to follow the World Anti-Doping Agency. They are the experts on this, and their experts finally decided that this case, as I said, is not an anti-doping rule violation, so we had to follow the decision from the WADA.
This proceeding lasted more than 9 months. Why it took so long?
I can understand that for many people it was very long to wait, but we have first of all to respect the rights of Mr. Froome to defend his own case, to prove that he is not guilty, and the case was also so difficult that many explanations were transmitted to the UCI, and we have also to bring, I would say, many experts on this to look after the files that were transmitted to the UCI.
Well, you had announced that it would be difficult to have a decision before the Tour de France. What explained this announcement this week?
It's true that I always said that because we were more in a calendar with a decision after the summer. But 2 points. First of all, we received the documents, the final explanation from Mr. Christopher Froome on the 4th of June. And in link with this, we received the statement from the WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, on the 28th of June. So we have then all the elements to close the case, and in between the 28th of June and the 3rd of July, it was a short period of time for the UCI to conclude and to follow the statement from the WADA. And that also demonstrates that the UCI wanted to go as soon as possible after the decision from the stakeholders and from the WADA.
Is the UCI's reaction linked with ISO's intention to refrain Christopher Froome from taking part in the Tour de France?
I know that this can be the feeling of many fans, of many stakeholders of cycling, because we had a statement, and the day after we have another statement. One statement from ISO and one statement from the UCI. But in fact, there is no link at all in between all these two facts. We have been informed at the UCI by ISO that they have decided to apply with their Article 29 of the regulation and to refuse Mr. Christopher Froome in their race. But due to the fact that we received a statement from the WADA on the 28th, we have been able to take a decision before the Tour de France, but there is no link at all in between these two facts.
Had ISO been informed that a decision would have been taken before the Tour de France?
Of course, but after the 28th of June, when we received the information that the statement from the WADA, we informed the ISO that the decision from the UCI will be taken before the Tour de France.
Did you expect so many reactions following the announcement?
Unfortunately, yes, but it's probably due to the passion around cycling. People, they want to, the fans, they want to have a clean sport. They want to have, the decision to have Chris Froome as guilty, because after the leak in December, for many of them, it was guilty. So they were expecting the UCI to take the same decision as they're feeling. But the UCI has to follow some rules, some strict rules, an equal possibility for him to defend his point of view, and due to the fact that the decision was not to find him as guilty. So, of course, I was expecting to have this kind of reaction. But I have to say that I also saw a lot of reactions from fans that understood what was the reason to have such a decision.
What do you make out of these reactions?
You know, for this reaction, I think that some of them were too much extreme, calling some time to fight, to not to respect, and against the UCI, against the institution, against the rider himself, and I think this is not acceptable. That's also why I want to explain maybe more into details why we had to take this decision in link with the WADA statement.
Would you say they affect you in any way?
Personally, no, even if I prefer always to not to be in a situation like this. But for the institution, yes, because the UCI is really the International Federation of Anti-Doping. We are doing a lot of things. We are in the front of the bunch on this. We took some strong statement about 2 weeks ago in the management committee against tramadol or glucocorticoid and everything. And to have people criticizing UCI, I don't like this because it's not true, it's not fair, and that's not the reality. We are really fighting against doping. We are doing what we have to do, and they can count on me, on the UCI, to continue to have a clean sport. We've done a lot of things with X-ray machine to fight against technological fraud, so they can trust the UCI, even if it's maybe not their feeling today.
Having made this announcement last week from the management committee meeting, and considering what's happening now, do you think that your message could be difficult to understand in this context?
At the moment, yes, because of course the fans, the stakeholders, the media, on the week before the start of the Tour de France, they are completely focused on this Chris Froome affair. And it's difficult to explain that we are fighting against doping with new substance to be banned, and in the meantime to take a decision to close the Froome case. But we had to take this decision. But in the other hand, we have also to fight and to be sure that nobody will cheat, and that they can't use tramadol or corticoid and so on. So we will continue to do what we have to do to ensure that our sport will be clean.
You stated that you wanted to engage in discussions with the World Anti-Doping Agency to introduce a number of changes. Can you tell us what are those changes?
Different changes. The first one is to introduce in the list the tramadol on the glucocorticoid. That's very important for us. Of course, we asked many times to have this. This has been refused by the experts from the list, from the WADA. I hope it will be the case in the future, because, as an example, tramadol, 65% of the cases of tramadol in the world are in cycling. So tramadol is used in cycling. We have the same with the corticoid. I'm not speaking for other sports. I just want to have these substances on the list for cycling. So this is a request we have, and this is what we want to do. We want also to have a provisional suspension when you have an abnormal or positive case, but mandatory and not in link with the potential decision from the International Federation. So there are, I think, many changes to improve the fight against doping.
What message would you like to address to cycling fans?
I would like to tell them that they can trust the UCI. We will do what we have to do to clean this sport, but they also have to respect the decision. This decision is based on the World Anti-Doping Agency statement, and we have to respect their decision too, in link with their experts. You know, when you have the right to defend yourself, it's not to be always guilty. If the explanations are correct, then the experts say to the WADA that this explanation are acceptable, and then we have to follow this decision. So they have to respect the decision to close the case. But they have also to respect all the riders, and they have to respect, among all of them, Christopher Froome, because I was really upset to see that some fans on Twitter and social media, they call for fight during the Tour de France. This is clearly unacceptable, And my mission as president of UCI is also to protect all the riders. And Chris Froome, he has not more right than the other riders, but he has not less right than the other riders. So we must respect all of them, and I'm sure that we will have a wonderful Tour de France.